I get a lot of messages about tunes in 3/4, and they often ask the same question. They'll say something like, I'm trying to play Alice in Wonderland. I'm using some of the ideas from your videos, figuring out key centers, common building blocks, guide tone lines, but it never seems to sound quite right. What am I doing wrong? Well, here's the thing. The building blocks haven't changed. The only thing that's changed is the meter. In this video, I'll show you why improvising in 3/4 feels so different, and I'll give you a few simple exercises that will help it start to feel as natural as playing in 4/4. Most of us have spent almost all of our time listening, studying, practicing and playing music in 4. Almost all Western music is in 4/4 time. Whether that's jazz, classical, pop music, rock, folk, in Western musical culture, 4/4 is the default and we're all steeped in it. Then suddenly we try to play in 3/4 and everything falls apart. But the good news is that 3/4 isn't inherently any harder than 4/4. It's really just a question of familiarity. So what we need to do is spend some time acclimatizing to 3/4. And this isn't about harmony or any particular tune, this is all about rhythm. So let's isolate the problem. We'll just play over one chord. Let's use concert B-flat 7, since it's a nice familiar one for most jazz musicians. That's C7 for B-flat instruments and G7 for E-flat instruments like me. What we want to do is just get used to playing rhythmic ideas naturally in 3/4. So I'll put on a backing track and I'm going to start improvising short phrases. I'm going to keep the notes really simple, just centered around the tonic, concert B-flat, with maybe a few other notes thrown in for decoration. We're going to give ourselves some really strict rules. Not because this is how we'll eventually improvise, but because they're going to stop us falling back into our familiar 4/4 habits. I've made a free PDF that sets out everything I'm about to show you today, so you can practice these exercises yourself later on. It also includes notation for transposing instruments. There's a link below in the description. So for the first exercise, the rule is that our phrases are only 1 bar long, really short, and they must start on beat 1 and end on beat 1 of the following bar. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry. When you'll hear it, you'll know what I mean. It's much simpler than it sounds. This is a really strict parameter. There isn't going to be much space to get creative, but that's not the point. The goal here is simply getting really comfortable playing rhythms that fit naturally in groups of 3. So this is what that sounds like. Stick with this for a while, don't rush through it. Make sure it's feeling really comfortable before you move on. Once you've spent some time with it, let's change the parameters a little. This time, let's follow the same principle, but now we'll play for 2 bars and rest for 2 bars. Okay, now let's loosen the rules up just a little. We'll still work in 4-bar chunks, and we'll still start every phrase on the first beat of the first bar. But beyond that, we're now free to play for as long as we like. Just make sure you leave some space at the end of each 4-bar cycle before starting the next one. It could sound something like this. Spend plenty of time on each of those steps. They need to feel really comfortable and effortless before you move on. That probably won't happen immediately. You may need to come back to these exercises over several practice sessions. That's completely normal. Alongside these exercises, spend some time listening to great improvisers playing in 3. Listen to how naturally their phrases sit in the meter. Borrow ideas, copy rhythms, and let your ears get used to that sound. Now we've started developing a feel for improvising in groups of 3, let's see what happens when we add some harmony back in. Let's try playing over a real tune. Let's try All Blues. All Blues is usually written down in 6/8 rather than 3/4, but for our purposes it's really the same idea. We're still thinking in groups of 3 rather than groups of 4. It's also a great tune to begin with because it's a blues, and that's a form that most jazz musicians already know quite well. All Blues is in concert G, so that's A for B-flat instruments and E for E-flat instruments. The chord changes are included in the free PDF, along with a few suggestions to help you get started if you're not sure which notes to play. Let's use exactly the same rhythmic rule as last time. We'll play in 4-bar phrases, and every phrase must begin on beat 1. Don't worry too much about the chord changes, and keep the notes nice and simple. This is how that might sound. If you catch yourself slipping into playing phrases that feel like they're in 4, don't worry, that just means your ears are falling back on what they know best. Just stop, reset, maybe go back to playing some simple rhythms in 3 for a moment, and just keep immersing yourself in that feeling of groups of 3. Now that we're starting to get more comfortable in 3/4, let's take the stabilisers off completely. We can begin and end our phrases wherever we like. They can be as long or as short as we like. Let's see how it feels now that we've spent some time developing some instincts for the new time signature. Eventually, you can move on to more challenging tunes with richer harmony. Alice in Wonderland is a great place to start. It's actually a lot less complicated than it first appears. In fact, it's really similar to a standard you might already know, Autumn Leaves. I've got lots of other videos on this channel showing ways to hear and improvise your way through chord changes, so if you'd like to explore those ideas further, I've linked some good places to start below. The same principles apply whether you're playing in 3/4 or 4/4, but the key thing is now that we've spent some time getting used to building our rhythmic ideas naturally in the time signature. That's really the whole point of these exercises. We're not trying to squeeze our familiar 4/4 ideas into 3/4, we're giving ourselves time to develop new instincts that naturally belong in groups of 3. I'll play a bit on Alice in Wonderland to finish. Hopefully you'll hear how some of the same rhythmic ideas we explored earlier still form the basis of the lines, even though there's now much more happening harmonically. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more like this. I mentioned earlier how similar Alice in Wonderland is to Autumn Leaves. This next video is the perfect place to start if you'd like to learn how to hear and navigate those chord changes, so click there next. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.